Would you look at this beautiful weather here in Scotland? It is awesome. 15 degrees, I think. Not got my glasses on. 13, 15. Anyway, I'm at work. I'm nipping out to run a wee errand, so I thought I'd come on and say hello because I was going to record a video in the house with a camera. Obviously with a camera, I mean with my proper cameras, because I've got a few things I wanted to tell you about the channel, about my plans and changes. And I recorded about 3 and they were all crap, so I decided to back to the drawing board. But what better place to talk about you from than on the bike? This is where the channel all started, on the bike, riding through grief. So here's the plans. I think things in life evolve, don't they? My channel has evolved, certainly. That initially it was all about my own journey through grief and how I was dealing with that and sharing that with you. But obviously things have changed a lot in life, and I'm now bringing content in that includes Charlotte as well, and I want to bring other types of content in, which I'll go through in a minute. And the biggest thing I think is that I don't really want my channel to just be known for that. I don't want it just to be about grief and nothing else. Obviously it's a very important subject. Mental health is a very important subject, and it's not a subject I'm going to abandon. Because rightly, I mean, for whatever way you want to look at it, I still struggle from time to time with everything. I still have bad days, good days. I'm lucky, very lucky that I've got Charlotte to help me. I've got Big Gordon to talk to, and Gordon himself goes up and down. It's a roller coaster of a ride, this grief thing. I've said that a million times in the channel. Gordon and I have spoken about it. There is no linear process to grief, and it certainly doesn't go away. So I have been kind of thinking a lot lately about how I'm going to deal with the channel going forward, and I want to have a wee bit of a change of direction, but without ignoring where it's all come from. This life of mine, which has been an absolute shit show, and there's no denying that. Losing your loved one is the worst thing a person can ever experience, or among some of the worst things a person can ever experience. And this channel, where I am now in my life, started from the ashes of that horrific experience. And as you know, I had a lot of chats with Sarah about the channel, but it wasn't about this channel riding through grief as such that we spoke about. When Sarah and I were talking about the channel, it was to do with music and media and biking and all that kind of stuff, and that's what she really wanted me to do. I decided to sort of go down this route because I needed a catharsis, I needed an outlet. I was struggling, I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't feel that I was in the frame of mind to make a happy channel all about all these things, so I just wanted to kind of document my journey and try and help other people. And I think to an extent that's been achieved. I'm happy that there are people on this channel that have potentially had some benefit from what I've put out there, especially with the chats back in the day with Gordon and I talking about grief and how we're dealing with things and all that kind of bump. So all that. But like I said, I am concerned that this is just all it is, and I don't want it just to be all about this. Gordon, and I talk about Gordon because I feel as if I can. Gordon's probably my closest friend in the world. We've bonded over the worst possible things, like I said, that can happen in life, and I trust him. I trust him implicitly in his judgment and everything. And we've talked about our grief many times privately, because we've struggled and we've helped each other out, and we have bad moments and we're able to talk to each other and laugh it. And we both talked about how that we don't want to be. It's almost feeling like the channel being all about grief is holding us back from living that big life, or even living that safe life, whatever life we want to live, don't want it to be constantly, how do I put it, it's not a constant reminder, that's maybe a bit incorrect to say that, because obviously I want to remember Sarah, I'm always going to remember Sarah, but it's how we remember our loved ones that's important. And I want to remember Sarah for the great times that we had, the laughs, the friendship, the holidays, the just everything, the bike trips. I don't just want to be focused on the grief, the horrific history, the illness. It sounds terrible, but it's very difficult to develop your life when that's a constant reminder. I'm trying to think where I'm going here. So, what do we do? How do we deal with this? Well, my theory is simple. My theory is keep the channel running. I have changed the title of the channel from Riding Through Grief to RTG a life journey. RTG obviously it pays homage to how the channel started, which is Riding Through Grief. And a life journey is all about is exactly that. It's how I've dealt with losing my wife to developing my life and moving on with things without letting the past go. So I am a musician. I am a drone operator. I used to have I've still got a commercial drone licence, a GVC, which is a general visual line of sight certificate. And I've got an operations manual which is submitted to the Civil Aviation Authority, so I've got an operational authorisation to operate in the specific category. So if you know anything about drones, there's three categories. There's the open, the specific and the certified. So the specific is a higher risk category. I can fly up drones of up to 25 kilos, right, blah 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 bollocks. I'm sure you don't need to know all that, but I used to do that. The musician stuff, studio, I spent my life working as a musician. I used to do wedding photography, video, and I gave it all up. I gave it all up because I couldn't concentrate on it, because all I was doing was concentrating on loving Sarah and being there for her and looking after her, and it's as simple as that. But I need to now concentrate on me. I need to be selfish. The survival part of this journey has been just that. It's like I am existing and surviving. Obviously I am very fortunate in a very unique set of circumstances where Charlotte came into my life, someone that I knew in the past, someone that I had lost contact with many years ago, decades ago, but we had a connection back then. She came back into my life and discovered that the connection didn't go away, it's still there. On you go. And it's wonderful. So I'm in this very sort of unique situation, which is great. It's fantastic, it's amazing, and it's given me a new perspective on life, and that's brilliant. So I get to carry the legacy of Sarah and I's life through with me on this new journey. And as I've said at the start, grief doesn't go away, so if anybody tells you that, then they're wrong. It just doesn't disappear, it doesn't get smaller, you live it, you learn to live as a person. I'm much more resilient than I thought I was, but I suppose 2 years potentially of becoming seriously ill with Sarah, before she actually got diagnosed with cancer. Dealing with that year after year after year can when you're dealing with that every day, it does make you resilient, I suppose. So this is the aim. So I want to bring those mediums back into my life, and that's a combination of music, drone work, photography, all that, and I want to bring it into the channel. The channel's original name, Riding Through Grief, was my concept of using this as a tool to get me through life. to get me as an excuse to get. You know, I've spoke about it before. You know how in bad a state I was 6 months ago. I really wanted to end everything. I couldn't cope. I couldn't deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. And using the bike as a tool to get out there and get some air and talk to you guys was my way of helping, and it's helped immeasurably. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everybody, and your support has been incredible. But I need to start looking at my life in a big way and bringing in all the stuff back that I lost, and that's where I'm going to go with the channel. So the channel's not only going to be about biking, it's going to be more of a lifestyle. Riding through grief was a lifestyle. I was wondering, I thought I was on the wrong side of the road there, but I've just noticed there's a no entry sign back there, so it's like, no, I was right. Riding through grief was the initial stage of that lifestyle. That was the survival stage. So RTG, a life journey, is now the developing stage. This is where we evolve. This is where I evolve in my new life with Charlotte. So I'm going to start, as I said, bringing in other mediums, which is videography, photography, drone work, and potentially music. Now, you know I'm supposed to be doing a charity single. I've struggled with motivation. I've struggled with everything, to be honest with you. My mental health has taken an absolute hammering. I think you know probably why, because I've had a lot of crap. I'm not going to get into that, but yep, it's had a horrific and detrimental effect on my own mental health. I have absolutely no idea where I'm going. I think this takes me on the Great Western Road. Yep, I'm right. I'm remembering. So, in order to survive this stage of my life, I need to start looking at other options that don't just involve talking about grief. So, with that in mind, just to let you know that I will still be having discussions with experts and people over mental health issues. I have a support group coming into my studio next week. A men's support group to talk about the work they do to support men with mental health problems. I will be still talking to other people, experts, etc, but it won't be the main focus of what we do here on this channel. Ultimately, this has to change. My life has to change, and I have to start thinking about myself, and that's as simple as pie. That's exactly what I'm going to start doing, and I have to be a wee bit selfish. So Gordon will understand where I'm coming from, because he knows the score. Any of you that's on this channel that have had suffered loss yourself, I'm sure you'll understand as well. But like I said, I'm not abandoning the principles of what this channel started off as. I'm just evolving it. I'm making changes, and that's it. Here's why I'm in Great Western Road. I totally forgot, my tank bag's got a problem with a zip, and to replace it was going to be too expensive, so I've bought a cheapish one from Infinity here, and I forgot all about it. I think I ordered it about a fortnight ago, and I got an email through saying, are you picking up this parcel? So I'm here to get it, and we'll see what it looks like. So there you go. I think I've covered everything. Forgive me if it sounds like I'm just gabbing a lot of shite, but I think I've covered what I wanted to say, and I'll catch you all later. Take care, folks. Have a good day. Bye bye.